Okay, I forgot to take attendance. I need to do that. Owen?
Here.
Jemiah? Here. Estivali? Esti? Marlena?
Here, I go by Marley.
Marley? Okay, you guys are gonna be patient with me now. I'm old. Nanny?
Here.
Maeve?
Here.
Elizabeth? You guys all have different names. Is it Talia?
It's Talia.
Talia? I'm so sorry. Leo?
Here.
Kate?
Here.
Jameson?
Here.
Danielle?
Here.
Mackenzie?
Here.
Solomon? Macy?
Here.
Charles? Vanessa?
Here.
David? Gavin?
Here.
Evan? Jordan?
Here.
Chloe?
Here.
And Sophia.
Here.
Awesome.
I didn't get called.
Oh, who are you?
Samantha Killian. I got added today, so
Just today?
yeah.
I don't think I.
Alright, just a minute, let me go back in. I gotta make sure. Okay, this is period D. Okay, so I have Samantha. I do have Samantha Killian on the list.
I go by Sammy.
Okay. And who are you? Good one. Susie and Lucy are on the list too. Anybody else? You guys weren't called either? Okay, so we got. Did they just change your schedule today?
Yes.
No.
And who are you?
I was shoes yesterday.
Yeah, who are you?
Oh, Angela Valentine.
Okay.
No, I haven't.
I think what may have happened with you guys is that's my guess. All right, we good now? We got everybody? I got you already. You're Jarius.
Where you're in the jacket.
Jarius, got you. Okay. All right, here we are. We're ready now for our notes. Ready? Find the decimal form of 15/8. Now, guys, some of you know how to do this. Some of you can probably even do it in your head. Some of you have no idea. So we're all in this together. We're going to be patient. We're going to learn, all right? We're going to change this into a decimal. No calculator. What do we do? Divide. This is a division problem. This literally says 15 divided by 8. Top number goes inside, right? 15 divided by 8. So what do we do? Yoo-hoo. What do we do? 8 goes into 15 one time. Uh-oh, now what do I have to do? Add some zeros? No, or something, sorry. You recognize this? Okay. So now 8 goes into 70. All right, let's see. Get rid of the cobwebs. 8 goes into 70. 8 times? What's 8 times 8? You got it. Oh no, 8 goes into 60. Seven times. Finally, 8 goes into 40 5 times. So my decimal is 1.875. Good. How about negative 11.6? No, same thing. I'll worry about the negative later. All right, 6 goes into 11. How many times? And the same thing going on. 6 into 50. the 20. Put 3. What's happening? It's going to repeat. Just put a little bar over that 3 and we are done. What we have up here are two examples, or are examples of the two kinds of decimals that we can have. This is called a terminating decimal. It stops. And this is called a repeating decimal. And anytime you do this fraction thing, you're going to get either a decimal that stops or a decimal that repeats every time you do it. Okay. All right, let's look at this next section now. Describe and graph. Well, forget the describe part if that's hard for you. What does a graph look like? We're talking about a number line.
Oh, where does the negative sign go on the last?
Oh, I'm sorry. It goes right here. I promised you I'd take care of it, and then I forgot it. You're right. It goes on the decimal. Yep, out in front of the decimal. Thank you. Okay, how do I handle this? I gotta graph this. So here's 3 somewhere on the number line. And we're big kids now. We don't need to do the whole 0, 1, 2, just put the number you want there. Put an open circle. Why is it open? Because there's no 4 equal to, right? And then which way am I going to shade? I always shade in inequality. With the arrows pointing. Who can read that to me? X is greater than 3. And that's what we graph. Beautiful. What about this one? Or this on the number line. Now there's 2 numbers, so I'm going to go ahead and put my -4 and 2 on there.
For the -4, it's going to the left, and for the one for the 2, it's shaded in and going to the left.
Let's talk about this for a second. Good. That's shaded, absolutely 100%. Shade that 2 in, because that's an or equal to. Where is that X sitting? Right in between these 2 numbers? So where do you think I'm going to shade? In between the 2 numbers. Literally, this says that X is bigger than -4 and less than 2. So it's in between -4 and 2. What in the world? I know you know this, but you might have forgotten it. That's not a point. That's not an ordered pair. Not that. It's not that. What does that mean in terms of a number line? Anybody know? You got a guess? No? It's called interval notation, and it is the notation of calculus. This is how we're going to get used to writing our answers. The parentheses mean open dots. So I'm going to have an open dot, they both have parentheses, an open dot, and then shade everything in between them. So in other words, this is the same as that. This is kind of like when we're first learning algebra, this is how we write it as an inequality. But then as we get older, we start shortcutting it into what we call interval notation. Now, look at D. What do you notice is different about D? It's kind of the same thing, but what do you notice? There's a bracket. Any guesses what the bracket means? Close in dot, exactly. So you close in that dot, leave the other one open, and in between. With interval notation, it's always in between your two numbers. That's where you're shading. In between. So, in our inequality notation, this one would look like this. Does that make sense to you? Okay. Parentheses open, bracket closed. If you don't remember that from last year, you need to know that. That's a biggie. Oh, Lordy, what about E? Anybody have a thought about how that's gonna get graphed? Exactly, Jordan, very, very good. Now, why is that? Well, where's negative infinity? Isn't that out here? I can't put a dot there because where's infinity? It just go, right? But I do know it's in that direction. And what did I tell you about where you shade? You always shade in between your two numbers. So you're gonna shade everything in between negative infinity and nicely done. Okay, now take a look at part 3. I have an interval. You can graph it, we just talked about this. But your job is to write it like this. So what would this be as an inequality? An inequality is something that has a less than or greater than in it, okay? So what would this be as an inequality? 4 less than x less than 6. Is that perfect, or does that need fixing?
How do you know to put a less than or greater than sign?
When you write a compound inequality, so in other words, when you're writing an interval, it's expressing an inequality with two numbers like that, always less than, always. X is between those two numbers, and so it's gonna be bigger than this one or less than that one, so always less than. All right, good job. How about B? Anybody feeling confident? Can you tackle B? What would that inequality be?
The 6 would be shaded in going to the right, the infinity symbols on the right side.
Yep, that would be a picture of it. What's the inequality for that?
X is greater or equal to 6.
Perfect, done, done, done. When we write an inequality, we never put an infinity in it. Infinities show up in intervals, they never show up with that. So it's just x is bigger than or equal to 6. How about C? Any idea what this one would be? Interval? I know I'm gonna have a -1 and a 5. What kind of symbols should I have, David?
Parentheses in front of -1 and a bracket.
Perfect, A plus, easy, so easy. All right, number 4, write them in interval notation. Let's see if we can get this section done. What is 4 less than x less than 9 gonna look like as an interval? Oh, wait a minute. This was supposed to be an inequality. This should be this. This is exactly the right interval, but this is the inequality for number C. Now we're doing what you did, David. You want to try this one? What would that look like?
4 parentheses.
decided to use parentheses instead of brackets. Because there's nowhere equal to, those are open dots. All right, how about this one, the next one? What's this one gonna look like? Got my -3 and my 6. Bracket and parentheses. Last one of the day. How about this? We're gonna write that as an interval. Yes?
2 then infinity.
2 and infinity, perfect. Right? Infinity's out here, remind yourself. What about like parentheses and brackets? What are we gonna have? We're gonna have a bracket on the 2 and a parentheses on the infinity. Infinities are always parentheses because you can't put a dot there. Perfect, folks. We didn't get done, but we'll keep working them out. Go ahead and start your homework if you wish, but you must bring back your yellow sheet and you must